Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, Breaker of the Seven Seals. Sisters and brothers, this is the redux of chapter 12. We see that those clowns over at Farrakhan's fake NOI, Nation of Islam, they gave something they pulled out their behinds and call a honey rendition. They have no idea what they're talking about. It's amazing because in a few more days, those people that's hanging with Farrakhan will be literally hanging with Farrakhan. He's a fake, he's a liar, he's a coward. All the scriptures say that. It's easy to see. They're going to be amazed. They're going to pretend to be amazed, or they may be amazed. How could they have followed? They're fool. They're liar. It was so easy to see him because they're lazy. Most of them are demons. Just all I had to do is read the lessons. But it was rather, it's okay. He must be the one. We get with him. We ain't going to check it out. He must be the one. Instead of, do you put your life and your children and your wife and your family's life on the line without checking out to see if what kind of person does that? Because just a basic check on Farrakhan, and he's exposed. His father's the devil. Biology tells you that he's a devil. His father's a devil. He says the father's a Caucasian Jew, Portuguese. That makes him a black-faced Portuguese Jew. Satan casting out Satan. There you go. He said he casting out Satan, but it said it would be Satan that would be casting out Satan. He openly lies. He doesn't speak about the covenant, yet he claims he's a son of man. He doesn't speak about the covenant. He reads half the contract. The next line says, we're going home. He said, we're not going anywhere. So he's calling the scripture lie. He's calling Elijah lie. He's calling Master Muhammad lie. He's calling everybody lie. Because he says, and all you got to do is read the next line. It says, we're going home. And it even defines where to, where home is. Very clearly, geographically. He doesn't, we ain't going nowhere when it clearly says we are. So we're going to leave out with great substance. But he says, oh, no, leave out means we're going to leave out their names, their religion. We're going to stay here. We're just going to come out of her culture. Which is bullshit. Come out of her, my people. Or come out of her names, her culture, her religion. Is Scientology part of your culture? Judaism? Devils ain't, you're going to bring devils in NOI? So it's, you're going to come out and you're going to bring them in. You're going to come out of a culture and you're going to bring them into yours. Well, let's move on. Okay, I'm going over chapter 20, a little more chapter 12. A little more detail, add a few more things. Not in response to what they're doing, but they respond to what I'm doing. I just want to give a little more highlight because this is a very timely chapter. I never really spoke on it like I've been speaking on it the last few days because it's talking about right now about what's getting ready to slam into America. Famine. Insurrection. Excuse me, boss. Let me check something for a minute here. I have to check these because sometimes I get some feedback. Someone's telling me there's something, an issue with the broadcast. So Okay. It's very timely, and it speaks to what's on the horizon, brothers and sisters, and it's going to come at you like a sledgehammer suddenly. I would say without warning, but you're getting a warning. For most of you, it's going to be without warning because people are blocking you from getting this warning. Farrakhan Legion claims he's the watcher. The watcher is supposed to warn you when war and famine and destruction is coming. He's not warned by anything. He just constantly, for the last few weeks, I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one. Farrakhan's the son of man. Farrakhan's this, he's the anointed, he's this, right? He's directly from the Messiah and the Christ. Only thing he's directly from is a donkey's ass, period. He's a liar. And you're going to find in a minute, and even the people that's his, what they call it, handlers, they're going to expose them. But when they don't need them anymore, and this message breaks through, they're going to expose them too. Because he's a son of perdition. He's a liar and a coward. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, so where are we at here? Now, chapter 12 talks about the war in the Middle East. Now, that has significance on many levels. It's what triggers Armageddon. It triggers Armageddon. But it also triggers the famine. It triggers a lot of things, brothers and sisters. Insurrection, because it breaks the pride of their power. That means all aspects of it. If you break the power, you break all aspects of it, and that's their social system, the economic system, the military system, all of it. All of it. All of it crashes as a result of that war in the Middle East, because that's where the base of their power is, right there. That's why I said false Israel there. They control Mecca and Medina. You say, oh, no. Who are the house of Saud beholden to? They depend on America, Gog and Magog, Britain and America, to protect them, to maintain them on the throne. So who's in control then? In exchange for cheap oil, that's why they call it a dragon, because they're fueling the power of America. They're fueling its power. That's how it became so powerful, because they had cheap energy. He said, thought it was cheap. Everything is a consequence. From their level of thinking, right, it was getting powerful of cheap energy. But there's a consequence to that, and they don't understand it. But they're going to understand in a minute, because it says when they begin to understand it, it's going to drive them insane. Insane. Read the scripture. It's going to drive them insane. No food, no oil, their system crashing, their system, the economy collapsing, right? This whole system is collapsing. Their reality collapsing. There's nothing they can do about it. People that has never missed a meal in 400 years. Dancing and running around playing and bullying people and invading people and killing people and genocide and enslaving people. Oh, they've had the full reign 500 years. Gog and Magog. They're the ones coming out of the pit in chapter 20. They're doing everything to deceive you. It said they would come out to deceive the whole of the nations. They kind of see, because chapter 20 is not future, that's past. That's their history in the bottomless pit, the 1,000-year dark ages. Is that a coincidence? They came out, Gog and Magog, covered the whole world, spreading their deception, disease. They bust out of Europe, spreading deception, disease, war, famine, everything. Everywhere they went, everybody was prosperous. They said, well, capitalism brought the world out of poverty. They impoverished the world. They came out seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. Exactly what they did. They want to acknowledge it. You don't have to. You have to acknowledge gravity. It's going to grab your ass and slap you to the ground. You have to acknowledge it. And consequence is more significant than gravity. Okay? Gravity changes depends on the situation. Consequence never changes. Every action has an opposite, but equal reaction, period. No exception. That's the nature of consequence. Fundamental nature of the universe. So, petro wars, that's a result of this battle in the Middle East that we're going to get to. Because that's what America's going to be battling for, partly. That's one of the reasons, several reasons. They want total control of oil. They have virtual control. They want total control. They also want to wipe out any force that may be godly inspired. Which are the Shia. You'll see in a minute. See, it says, will a nation be born in a day? In a day. So whoever heard such thing, so they claim that's false Israel. No. Because if they was children of Abraham and they were the ones who were returned home and their nation was born in a day, which it wasn't, 1948, right? They would return in peace and prosperity with no walls. It says, no walls. Protected. It's not their situation. They haven't had a day of peace since they've been here. They've been robbing and killing and stealing. Is that the works of God? They're doing the same thing over there on just a small level than what their European brothers did over here. Took somebody's land. They're going to say, oh, that's our land, says took it. Oh no, God said the Palestine is our land. Just went and took it. You see, have the people enslaved over there. Killing children, women and children. All kinds of evil things doing. And you know, all the evils that's been done to the world the last 5 years been done under the banner of the cross. It wasn't communism that enslaved us. It wasn't communism that raped us and took our names away, took our culture away, kidnapped us from our land. It wasn't socialism that did it. No, it was the cross. Period. So, and you're going to tell me that the cross, you're going to tell me that the cross, that those are the works of righteous God? Their works. He said, know them by their works. So where are their works? Where's your rap sheet, America? They said, know them by their works. So where are their works? Show me what their works is good. Especially towards us. Show me where their works are good. He said, no. So if you don't pay attention, that's your problem. We know the demons are full-time distracting you. Wolves in sheep clothing. The master seed. That's biology. Plain, clear biology. And Farrakhan already admitted this follows the devil. That means he makes him a devil, which is a demon. A black-faced devil is a demon. Half devil, half man. He admits it. Just Google. Farrakhan said his father may be a Jew. Google it. He says it. That makes him a Jew himself. Blackface one. These things are easy to check. We don't expect the Jews to check them. But if you still, that means you're not about the truth, because if you was, then you would listen and check and verify what I'm saying is true or not. And then act accordingly. You don't do it. So therefore you have to pay the price. Think there won't be a price to pay for that? Read about those in Daniel who woke up too late. They had to go to the tribulation. Petrol wars. I mention that because that's going to be a consequence of this war in the Middle East. Chapter 18. The European economy is going to collapse. The American economy is going to collapse. Because they're cut off from energy. Right now, America's primary source of energy is the Middle East. They've capped their oil wells for the most part. There's a strategic petroleum reserves that's diminished. They say they have a crisis with diesel shortage. The web is suddenly cut off. It means they can't get, even if they got food on the farm, they can't get it to you. It don't have to be a situation where there's no food on the farm. No, if they can't get it to you, that's what's the difference. When that happens, no food is cut, then you know what's going to happen. Everybody's going to, is going to run to the farms, and before they will be empty. Because snatch everything they can, and then they will be empty. And the stores will be empty, and stores will be empty in 2 days, 2-3 days. Then what? No food. No food. No electricity either. The oil to run electricity. America is going to be not only kicked out of the Middle East, right? So all the oil will be cut off from them, because she'll have total control of it. Total. And they ain't get up any of it. So then all they got is Russia. And they're at war with Russia. And therein lies the other situation, betrayal, because the Europeans are going to say, what the hell with this? I'm not going to starve and freeze because of you, America, because you're BS. And they're going to side with Russia. So now America is at war with their former friends in Russia. So if whatever oil that America may have, they'll have confiscated, and there will be no oil here at all. That means no food. That's a famine. You better read the angel Revelation again. Total famine. No food. Not in a week, not in a month, no food. What does that mean to 3/5 human people? Because if you're not human, you could be eaten. You could be eaten if you're not human. And the Constitution says you're not human. Obama didn't get rid of that, did he? Anyway, let's look at this, brothers and sisters. I'm going to go by verse, right? I'm not going to go as slow as I did earlier, because I'm just going to cover a few things, because I have a presentation that explains this. I'm going to add a few details. Chapter 12, Revelations, also known as the angel, or the apocalypse. It's a great sign was seen in heaven, one being thrown about the sun and the moon underneath the feet of her, and upon the head of her crown 12 stars. That's what I'm talking about. You have to have the key, brothers and sisters. You know, I watch these people, and they're trying to explain the angel, trying to explain Revelations, and they have no knowledge is key. And what they're saying is absolutely wrong. I have not met anyone that got even one part of it right. They got absolutely all of it wrong. But it says only one person in the heavens or the earth under could do it. And so this morning I was listening to one on YouTube. He says, oh yeah, the Lamb, he's the only one now. He took from the God. Hold it. It says no one in the heavens or the earth, under the earth. So God's in one of those places, right? Is it anybody except God? So if God wrote the book, how come he can't understand or read the book that he wrote? Because the God that's sitting on the throne ain't God. It's Satan. The God is God is this world, this time period. That's who's sitting on that throne. And if you get a translator, it call it a lying throne. Then they talk about the one in chapter 1. They say it's Jesus. It's not Jesus. Is Jesus Son of Man or not? Is he like the Son of Man or is he the Son of Man? Because in there it says he's like the Son of Man, that person. So he can't be. If you like something, that means you ain't it. See, they can't get that right. Because first of all, the main problem why they can't get anything right, because they won't come to grips with they devils. They're the ones that's doing this wickedness. They're the ones that's killing, stealing, destroying. So that's what the woman is right now. I'm showing you, right? That's the key. And the key says, half our nation are demons because of rape, incest, and rape for over 40 years. The demons, the master's children, house Negroes, black-faced devils, Oreos, if you will, Uncle Toms. They ain't ours. See, they put them off on us. But if a devil has a child, a black woman, that's his seed. So why are you going to tell us that that's our people? That's his seed. I don't care if the paper come out purple or green or orange or yellow. It's still his seed. Farrakhan. I don't care what color. You know, walls and wolves in sheep clothing. And that's why I said the man was set by demons. Because they look like us, walk like taller, but they wolves in sheep clothing. They ain't us. They're our enemy. And we're going to show that in them as we move along. Okay? That's why I said man was beset, plagued by demons. And Suleiman had to come and rescue him. And in the belly, she is having a birth pains, being tormented to give birth. Now, see in the belly there? Now, we know, now this period of time, we're going to see in a few minutes, right? This is up to 1975. It's a period of 30 to 1975, 40-some year period. Now, we know Master Muhammad wasn't born here. Not talking about that. He's like the embryo of his new nation. He's like the embryo of his new nation. If they don't want to be born, because remember, he conceived it. He came and conceived it. Back in the 30s. I'm not going to diverge here, because you know it said he's David, and David would have a son Suleiman. He would impregnate what's his name, Sheba, I guess it was, right? See, I'm not going to go there, bro. So that'll get you confused. Okay, so that keep that in mind right there, right? In her belly, that's the woman in her belly, right? She's tormented to give birth. What this torment, all this stuff means something. I'm not going to go to that kind of detail here, brothers and sisters. I'm going to get to some major point here. Now remember, it says this was a great sign. There's two signs. Now it says the sign of Jonah will be the only sign given to this wicked generation. So if it's not one of these two signs, then it must be some other sign. But this is a sign. The other people didn't say we get many signs. But it says to this wicked generation, they only get one sign of Jonah. Now Jonah there was repentance, redemption. And that's what's talking about here. Anyway, and see the other sign of heaven. And here's the dragon. See, they have no idea who the dragon is. They want to tell you all about scripture and everything. They don't know who the dragon is. They don't know who the demons are. They don't know who the jinn are. They don't know who the devil, what you can't call devils anymore, right? They have no idea what any of this is. The seven trumpets, they have no idea what that is. Seven thunders have no idea what that is. The lightning have no idea what that is. Earth, they have no idea what that is. They have no idea what any of this is. They keep yapping. So we give you the key and show you how to use it. Then you can verify what we're saying or not. See, we don't just pull crap like they do out there behind us and call it honey. We show you where we're getting information from so you can go and verify it. And if you don't take the time to do it, then that's on you, because you will suffer the consequence. Because willful ignorance, there's a consequence to that. And we'll see the other sign of heaven. That's the dragon. And see how, because all these pieces fill out the key. Here's the dragon. The women, and now you got the dragon. Let's move on. And I'm showing out the dragon's tail, fiery red tail. All that fills out the key. Okay? And it says, and the tail of his dragon, the third of the stars of heaven, threw him to the earth. Now I'm going to show that because the stars, you see up top there, and there's 6 stars altogether. I'm showing this a different context, but when they're all together, 6 stars there, so 1/3 would be 2 stars. That's the first trumpet and the second trumpet. And his tail is thrown into the earth. So the time frame here is when the war takes place, which is about to take place any day now. Master Muhammad goes to war with dragon and his angels. Master Muhammad, right? That's him there. He's David. He's Darius. He goes to war. He's Michael. He goes to war with his Shia, right? Against America, Britain, and false Israel. It said, tell his dragon 3 stars of heaven and threw him to the earth. And the dragon stood inside the woman about to give birth, in order that whenever she should give birth, child of her eaten down. So he's out there, he's planning to destroy this woman. Show who the woman is. Because it says a new nation be born in a day. Who is this nation? That's what he's not destroying an individual, he's destroying this nation. You're going to see that in a minute. He's destroying a nation that's about to be born. The real Israel. About to be born. He's there to destroy it. As soon as it's born, the dragon and his angels. We're going to see in a minute. They planned this for 42 years. Because when you saw the woman being pregnant right there, that was, I told you, that between the 30s and 1975. And then Elijah Muhammad departed. There was a falling away first. They lied so much, Farrakhan, it says the falling away would come first. Then the man's sin will be revealed. But they turned around. They say that, and then second later they turn, no, the falling away, right? The man's sin is revealed, right? And then because I'm exposing him, Farrakhan said, because he's exposed to Satan, now they're falling away. And it says right there, be not deceived, the falling away will come first. But then, because they know they're dealing with idiots. They know the people that's with them, if they still with them, they must be idiots. So you tell me anything. He says it right there. It says, the falling away, be not deceived. So in other words, somebody's going to try to deceive you about it, about the falling away. And that's what Farrakhan doing. He said, no. The falling away will come second. He said, don't be deceived by that. I mean, the scriptures hollering out, yelling. That's son of perdition. It follows the devil. He loves devils. He wants to bring him to NOI. Follow the flag. Oh, he no devil. You can't call devils because he don't want to call people devils. He says, follows a Jew. What do you need? He said, you ain't going nowhere. And the covenant says clearly, we're going back home. He's against, he said, Daniel said he'd be against the covenant. Everything he said, he's Aaron. And what did Aaron do? He turned the people's hearts back to Egypt. He had worshiped the golden calf. Moses wanted to kill him in both the Quran and the Bible. I mean, we can go on and on with this, brothers and sisters. So how can you be deceived by him unless you a demon or a damn outright idiot? Brothers and sisters. Okay. So now this is not a chronicle. I'm presenting this as a chronicle order, and I've been debating whether I should continue doing that, brothers and sisters. Why? Because chapter 12 is like the book of Jonah. It's not in chronological order because it's a sign of Jonah. It's similar to the book of Jonah. Because Jonah, you cannot read in chronological order. You never get it. That's part of the riddle. That's part of the code. Right? You can't read in chronological order. And you can't read chapter 12 chronological order either. I'm reading, I'm explaining to you in chronological order, right? At least the verses. I'm going to point out where this is actually takes place someplace else. I debated whether I should try to be, put the verses in chronological order, but that is just more confusing, Okay, so here's the 5th verse. And she gave birth to a son who is about to be shepherd all the nations, and his staff made of iron, and will snatch the child towards God and towards the throne of him. Okay? So in other words, they're talking about a nation there. She wants to devour. She wants to stop this nation from coming into existence. Because it says this child is about, right? Who is about to be shepherd all the nations of rod made of iron. About to be doing this. The dragon sitting to destroy a nation. It's about to be born. Because it said, was a nation born in a day? In a day? Who's heard such a thing? That's what I'm talking about, individual. And that's why I remember conceive this nation. He didn't have to show up. He came in fulfillment of the covenant. And then the master of the covenant will come in fulfillment, right? He came in fulfillment of the covenant, right? To acknowledge it, to remind you of it. But it's a Suleiman that will fulfill the covenant itself. That's why I call him the master of the covenant. He's Joshua. He's the one who's going to take you home. Okay. That's what's happening here. Okay. You see, Master I'm up there, right? And he's got, okay, in this case here, okay, besides, I can explain this to you. This is what's about to take place. In other words, I don't know if the elect represents the tree of life. They had to be moved out the way. I really want to go back to that because that's Genesis. Anyway, that was moved out the way. Keep them from touching it. Right? Okay. The winds has blown. So that's not going to. Okay, just move to the next slide, bro. That's the only way I can explain this. Unless you understand the angel. Okay. See that? So the 4 winds had to blow, and once the 4 winds blew, there was this resurrection, this new nation that was born today. Ezekiel said that 4 winds had to blow, and then the nation was born as a result of that. So, 4 winds had blown. I'm not showing the winds there, right? And so that was the last piece. This is the nation they try to stop from being born. The 4 winds had to blow, and then the nation was born as a result of that. So, 4 winds had blown. I'm not showing the winds there, right? And so that was the last piece. This is the nation they try and stop from being born. 4 winds had to blow, and then the nation was born as a result of that. So, 4 winds had blown. I'm not showing the winds there, right? And so that was the last piece. This is the nation they try and stop from being born. That's us at the top there. That's the Shia Master Muhammad, right? And then you got the Levites under that. No, you're not going to understand this, brothers and sisters, but as I move on, maybe you'll be able to pick it up as we move in, because chapter 12 is very difficult. It's not straightforward. It's not chronological. I'm trying to show you what it meant that the child was about to be born. They were standing by to destroy it. And then the war takes place in the Middle East. That's where they was attacking it to try to destroy it. But it was snatched up. That's it. The dragon stood by to devour it, or the dragon is making war with Master Muhammad and his angels. So he's preventing them from devouring it. And so it had to be he snatched them up to the guard and to the throne. Master Muhammad is the guard and the throne. If you understand the angel, is Elijah. He's the throne. So he snatched him up to the guard and to the throne. And he snatched up. That happens when the war takes place. So maybe that wasn't a way up presented really well at that point, but I don't know how. It's kind of difficult trying to explain chapter 12 to people that have no familiarity with the angel. Okay. So this is the child is about to be born now. That's the new nation, New Jerusalem. And that's why they were in the Middle East, because the dragon is the Middle East. It was devoured, the child soon to be born. It's sitting there because the child represents the Shia. But they're only part of the nation. It's 3 parts of this nation. But that's one part of it. And the other part is over here. They also plan to devour us. In other words, let me put it this way, brothers and sisters. We're going to see on the next slide, I believe, or the next couple of slides. They're preparing to stop this nation before it was born. That's what I said. The dragon was there. So he knew the child was going to be born. He knew where the child was going to be born at. But it speaks specifically about the dragon. So we know the dragon is over in the Middle East. So it's talking that part of the nation. But dragon angels, they're here. And we're the other part of the nation, and they plan to take out. And that's why both comes together at the same time. Because Master Muhammad delivers us and brings us all together at the same time. So, okay, let's look at this. And the woman fled into the desolate, where she is having their place, having prepared from the God, in order they may nourish her days 1,260, 1,260 days, which is the same thing as 42 months or 42 years. So on the left there, that's what we're talking about. Because see, most people confuse that verse. It says, and the woman fled into the desolate, where she is having their place, had been prepared. This place already had been prepared, right? So that was a place that was prepared, right? And she was being nourished there for it in that place. That was the place right there. If you understand the angel, right there at the bottom. She was there for 42 years. And when did she get there? She got there in 1980. The great fall on the way when Elijah Muhammad departed and Farrakhan took over in 1980. The woman's been there since 1980. 42 years will put her 2022. See? So she's fled. So when she's fled, right? Because remember, that's where it had been prepared. But now, where is she right now? She's at this point where the war is taking place, and she's being replaced. She is being grafted in, and she's being kicked out. And so she flees down there towards that place. And she fled into the desolate, where she's having their place. There's a place there, right? That's what you see. So you understand the place On the left, that's where the place was. She's fleeing. So hope you understand, bro. It's very difficult to try to explain this to anyone that not familiar with the angel key, not familiar with Hindu at all. Okay, so now a war occurred in heaven. See, this is not chronological order because according to the woman fleeing and the new nation born, that happens after the war. You see, it's verse 7. So it's not in chronological order. We'll see it in a minute. Some of these things kind of work this way out as you move further forward. If you understand the timeline, the current war in the heaven, Michael, angel of him of the two war with the dragon, and dragon warred, angel of it. So in other words, Michael's angel started the war. So that's where we are right now in time. That's the angel key, because the iron staff represents the two witnesses. That's Michael's angels. They're also called iron rod, iron staff, two olive trees, two witnesses. That's them. So they put pressure on America and false Israel with their enrichment of uranium and so forth, so on. So war is about to break out any time now. It says, Master Muhammad and his angels going, because remember, they've been planning since 1980 to destroy this nation. That's why over there, take, not just to guarantee the oil, because not to get just guarantee oil, but take out Iran. They already said they need to take out Iran. They want to take out Iran, because that's part of the nation. That's part of our nation. The original people, but they like Master Muhammad. There's a reason for that. I'm not going to go into it here. Did I go too far? Yeah, I went too far. And so the dragon's aim was defeated. So you see, Iran and Syria, that's Iron Staff, they're back in control of the Middle East. Because before we had America and Britain, they had the power of the Middle East. Now power has been broken. Remember, it says, I'll break the pride of your power. The power has been broken. They've been defeated. They've been cast out. And that will leave false Israel surrounded by armies under siege. We'll go further. And said, it was thrown the dragon, the great, the serpent, archaic, being called devil and Satan, make the earth the being habit whole. He was thrown to earth and him with him. See, I point out the dragon, right? And remember I showed you the dragon was that bottom part? That's why I say it's also called serpent or called Satan, because they're in that same area, they're the same part of the key with the dragon, because they also are considered to have 7 heads and 10 horns, because they're right there. They have also, know what it said, the dragon gave his power to the beast. So it's right there. So all you got to do is say, okay, instead of the dragon being in charge, we say Satan is in charge. He still got 7 heads, 10 horns, right? I'm not going to dwell on that, bro. Just let's move on. And I heard a voice in heaven saying, right now becoming salvation, the power, and the kingdom of the God of us, the God of us, authority of Christ him, because the throne, the accuser of the brother of us, accused him, saying, excuse me. Yep. Farrakhan's minions, his dummies, trying to say Farrakhan's defender, a black. No, he's not. Excuse me. He's the accuser. He said, you're sinful. You're wicked. You deserve to be punished. He said, we're born because we're being punished. He's the accuser. At that time, he's cast down, because that's why you see him here. You're going to understand in a minute why the demons are down there. Because he's cast down. He was up top there, now he's cast down. At this same time. Remember, this is talking about the war, and what I'm talking about right now is the things that happen as a consequence of America being defeated. So now, they're cast down. They're cast down out because, well, try to put this in context. When the war starts, remember, they was planning to take out part of the nation, that's Shia, at the same time. Excuse me. But they was waiting for a sign. What was that sign? The sign of Jonah. This wicked nation, wicked generation was looking for a sign. Why? Master Muhammad is looking for a sign also. So what's the sign? The sign is Nineveh, which is native Islam, is Nineveh, the great city, represents America, right? If you read Mark, they kick out Farrakhan and come Suleiman. The Suleiman will come as a thief in the night with 10,000 of his saints. Who are the saints? Thief in the night. I'm not going to explain that, brothers and sisters. Those of you familiar with the angel, know what I'm talking about. So they're prepared. They were getting ready to take out. Let me put it this way. This it's hard to explain this, brothers and sisters, because the timing is so tight. When you read Mark, it gives you a little detail. It says they came to Suleiman. They ran and met him. So he hasn't got to the NOI yet. They came to him. Something I really haven't explained before. They came to him. When we say he would come as a thief in the night, I'm not going to explain that, right? But also said, you know, as a result of the war, he comes to NOI. He does get there, right? But first, they come to him before that happens. And that's a sign of Jonah, because they repent and come to him before the war starts. And that's why Master Muhammad is looking for that sign, and they're looking for that sign, then they attack. They get ready to attack, but before they can attack, Master Muhammad attacks them. Then all things fall into place. You got to pay close attention to these facts, brothers and sisters. They say he can't run to him before he came to them. And that's a sign of Jonah. Because they repent. They say, heck with you, Legion. Louis Eugene ground and why backwards. They come running to him before he goes to them, till he gets there. So he hasn't got to Nineveh yet, because they come running to him. He's on his way to Nineveh. He's on the way there. But he comes in before. When he gets there, that's the sign. They repented. So when they repent, that's the sign I was looking for. And so they, at that point, they're going to attack, right, Shia, because they're in the Middle East. That's waiting for that sign, attack us. But before they do that, Master Muhammad attacks them. You see? Attacks them. Breaks pride of their power. That's a little detail I never really mentioned before. I'm making it clear and clear and clear. That's a little detail. It's a very important detail, because that signals the whole thing. That's why Master Muhammad fights first, because they're planning to do it, but both of them see that sign. He attacks first before. Because the way you think it happens is that, oh, well, he comes in the eye, But that's our sequence with everything else, because it says, right, if he comes in I first, and then the war starts. We got a whole different scenario there. So it says, once that happens, because once that happens, once he gets the NOI, right, that's when we're all under attack. That's where all blacks come together, demons as well as the saints, the chaff as well as the wheat. Then there's a war between the two. And the demons are cast out. That's, see right there. See, they're thrown out and the demons are replaced by the Shia. It tells you in the scriptures that the children the children, right, of Israel was thrown out and replaced by Gentiles. Something to that effect, right? That's what we're talking about. I'm not going into any detail there, brothers and sisters. So understand that. They see the sign before he actually gets in the NOI, because they come to him and everybody see that sign. Then they attack. So match time attacks. And that diverts them. He keeps them from taking out the Shia. And then over here, right, they're distracted. That gives time, right, for all the blacks to flee. Then you had the four winds. I think I explained that clear enough, brothers and sisters. Let's move on. Very important point. So they conquered him through the. So you have to understand the angel key to see this, right? Okay. Through this, be you making yourselves well-minded, heavens and in them tenting, woe to earth and sea, because step down the devil towards you, having a great anger, having known little time is having. Now this gets back to women in the beginning, where those two winds were cast down, or the two stars. Now that's what's happening now, because those two signs cover the whole both ends of the situation. This stuff here is what's happening between. In other words, you got this, and it says 1 and 10. And then, but after that, you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. That means it goes in there. So the signs represent happening to be the beginning and the end, but the rest of the verses are happening in the middle. Then you understand what's going on. So this is the four winds. It says stepping down, earth and the sea. That's two of the winds. That's the first two. But right here, right, we see at that point, that's after the war started and they kicked out. And false Israel was under siege and American Britain is kicked out. And they're going to attack black folks, all black people. If you understand, this is not blinking, but understand what would be under them would be, but they're taken out first because they flee before that can happen. That's the two stars. kind of think I'm giving too much detail, so probably it's confusing people. But I said I need to do it. And I saw a dragon that was strong. See, there's the woman. Now here it's showing, right? The winds hasn't blown yet. But those two stars, two bottom stars, those are winds. America and Britain is thrown out. She has taken control of the Middle East, right? That's the woman. That's the woman, right? So it says, and when dragon's soul was thrown to earth, the persecuted woman gave birth to the male. That's the one that's persecuting, going to attack her. That's why it's very important sequence of events here. So let's move on. Move on. See if we can make sense of this. Now here it says, and was given the woman 2 wings of an eagle, the great order. Now the eagle represents European countries. You see the wings. That's it's talking about. You have 2 wings, right? Now this is before the 4 winds blow. America is kicked out of the Middle East, right? 4 winds hasn't blown yet. Okay. It's like it says, woe those who are pregnant. Going to tell you to flee. So who's pregnant? America and false Israel. America and Britain is pregnant because they got something under them. That's what it means. They're pregnant. So if you say flee, because what? The bomb desolation, that's false Israel being taken out. So it says 2 things here. It says, and was given the woman 2 wings of an eagle in order that she may fly into the desolate place of her. Remember I said 1,260, right? Okay. 42 years, right? And she is being nourished there, appointed time. But see, remember, the black one is also, the woman also. There's 4 parts of this woman. That's one that's being nourished. Now, at this particular point in time, right? This particular point in time, this is famine. I said famine comes. Probably should show the 3rd seal in there, right? But famine, the 4th seal actually. Famine comes once the war started in America because they cut off the oil. Famine hits. See? And so it says that's the same. That's the other woman. She's nourished from the face of. I show what the face of a serpent is because that's what it means. Suleiman, he's the son there. See? Suleiman. That's the one. That gets back to chapter 18. I'm not going to explain the connection here. Too complicated, you wouldn't understand it. That's what it's talking about. I'm trying to hang it. I'm showing you bits and pieces. It's hard to explain it this way, brothers and sisters, because like this piece, and you'll see how it all hangs together. I'm going to try to hang it together for you. Okay? So it says, right, for time, it's during a time of total economic collapse of Europe. That's a time frame here. Okay? The 4 winds haven't blown yet. That's the stars. They haven't blown yet. That's why chapter 12 is so difficult because it's not chronological. It's hard to explain it. Even if you understand the angel, it's still hard to explain it. And drew the serpent out of the mouth of it behind the woman, water as river, in order that her born by the river it might mate. Now see, this is another aspect. I don't know, bro. It's just, I need to really present this, but it's so difficult to explain it because it sounds like everything's out of context. this is where, if I put everything like, really hangs together, it'd be a very long presentation. You'll probably be confused unless you understand the key. What I'm trying to show here is that after they flee, the war takes place. After they flee, all the blacks are together, right? The chaff and the wheat are separated. The chaff is thrown, cast out. This will happen. This at that point, because the child has been born. Remember, that nation has been born, and the demons are cast out. That's the point here. So if you could follow this, and threw the serpent out of the mouth behind the woman as river, in order that her born by river it might make. Okay. Now, it's talking about the woman, right? Were given 2 wings, right? Okay, that's the green one right there. Well, I called it one before. It's a demon, right? She's at the bottom down there, on the left-hand side, 2 wings. But now it says that, now it tells you, if you look at this carefully, once you know who the serpent is, out of his mouth, that's that white demon. Out of the mouth of the dragon, that's the red demon. Out of their mouth, and as a river, not river as a river. So that's what it's talking about, because she'll be carried away by. So what it's saying is, when they cast out, all of them are cast out. I know it's difficult, brothers and sisters. Even if you have some understanding of angels, it's still difficult. That's what it's talking about right there. It's not like it's jumping all over the place. Jonah's the same way. Jonah's the same way. I try to switch the verse around and put them in the order that events actually happen. There's a lot of work to do. And I'm not sure it'd be advantageous to do it. That's what I'm talking about. And this is a demon plague. This is a locust plague. See, locusts, the reason they call them locusts, said in 5 months, this will be happening. Remember, at this point, right, the nation's been born. We're not here. We've been delivered, because the Shia is not coming here. Master Muhammad delivered us. And they was cast down. See? Because you read the story of Mark, right? When Suleiman, they came to him, right? He threw out the legion and demons, casting back his devil daddies, right? And the man that was plagued by demons, that was the saint, right? They got their mind back, but they wasn't able to leave with him. They had to stay behind. He left in the boat with his people. That's the story here. So the saint representing the why. They will stay behind in tribulation, because they was deceived by Farrakhan. So they got to go to tribulation, because a lot of people still left behind, because it says in the book of Daniel, it says, those in the book of life were delivered. Right after they were delivered, many that slept in the dust, some in everlasting life, and some everlasting shame and abhorrment. Those everlasting life, that means they're going to be delivered, but they have to go to tribulation to be delivered. That's why it says in chapter 7, it says, right, part of the 6th seal, it says, who are they? These that came to the great tribulation. They washed their robes during tribulation. That's what's talking about there, brothers and sisters. Chapter 12 is a very difficult chapter. And I could put the time and effort, right, to put everything in sequence. It would take me quite some time, probably take a week or 2, because it's very difficult to do that. I'm not sure I've been the benefit of doing that at this point in time. Okay. That's what's happening. So that shows you where the mouth of the serpent, and that shows who the serpent is. And the mouth of the dragon. And we see, and that's what, I don't know why that's not. Okay. Right here, okay. But there it is right there. That's what's talked about. This say it was trying to hurt the woman, said, and gave aid to earth to the woman, opened up the earth, mouth of it, and drank down, right? Because it says the serpent, they out of the mouth came river water, be born by the river, it might make it. They say it was trying to destroy the woman, so it was born by water. So that means those two, they be carrying her. And that's the story right there, brothers and sisters, right? Anyway, it said the earth opened its mouth. It drank down. So, and that's what happens. After the 5-month demon war, that means these demons, remember, they black-faced devils, their master's children, they was cast out back to swine dads, and they went toward the swine dads, and they went off the cliff together. Because they stayed behind. Remember, Farrakhan said, doesn't want to leave America. He's the Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds, he says, in Book of Mark, please don't make me leave the country. Stop tormenting me. And what was the torment? Because he said, you're exposing me. Stop exposing me. That's what I'm doing, exposing him. He said, who the Lord would consume with the spirit of his mouth and destroy with the price that was coming. So that means the Lord, right, Suleiman would exposing him and eventually destroy him. And he said, please stop tormenting me. Please stop begging. He said, let me stay here. Don't please make me leave the country. That's what Farrakhan said. We don't want to leave here. Well, since we come out Farrakhan every kind of way you want to and just come up pure, stinking shit, period. That's what it is. He's a liar, a thief. He's cursed by God. It says, when man robbed God, so God will curse him with a curse. So he disemboweled, he pissing shits in the bag. That's the story, brothers and sisters, here. We're almost at the end, brothers. I think it's only 18 verses here. Something to think about, brothers and sisters. I know most of you are not going to understand it. That little thing they gave Sunday, they have no idea what they're talking about. It was made wrath of the dragon upon the women, and it went off to make war with the level of seed of her, observing the commands of God and having the witness of Jesus. That's the saints there. See, it says the dragons will make war with that one, because that's the one, because in Exodus it says, Moses returned, says, those with me. See, they kept the commandments. Those with Aaron, right? They stayed with Aaron, and Aaron got them destroyed. Because people who hang with Aaron, I ain't talking the demons, they had no choice. He leading them to their destruction. So they was all slain. But those who remained with Elijah, see, they was plagued by demons, so it was in the Nation of Islam, so-called Nation of Islam, because it's not the nation now. It was in there. They were surrounded by demons. That said the man was plagued by demons. Demons had him turn against itself. He was actually fighting against itself. So Suleiman had to separate them from them and give him his mind back. That's what's happening here. But then he wasn't allowed to go with Suleiman because he says, you failed because you're supposed to build a bridge between Elijah and the messenger of the covenant, the messenger and the messenger of the covenant. You didn't. You fell victim to these demons. Now you got to stay in tribulation and get the rest of the people that was left behind. That's the story, brothers and sisters. Sign of Jonah. That's a sign. They repent. That means a few more days, right? They're going to, this Farrakhan, and they're coming this way. A few more days. That's the sign. Before Suleiman can get to them. Because Suleiman wouldn't go to them until the war started. It says, because he was going towards them. Read Mark. He was going to them. But before they came to him, before he got to them. That was a sign. That means Muhammad went and attacked before they had a chance to attack Shia and before they had a chance to come after us. But he said they was waiting to destroy us, them as well as us, our nation, the whole nation, the parts over there and the parts over here. They was waiting to destroy the whole, they was waiting to devour it. They've been planning that for 42 years, since 1980. If you go read, it's on Farrakhan's site, they got rid of it. the government plan. They said they had a plan to destroy the Nation of Islam in Elijah Muhammad's absence. I'm not making this up. I forgot the name of it. I can never remember the name of that thing. I keep telling myself remember, I keep forgetting. Right? But it's a counterintelligence. That's counterintelligence plan that the FBI had to destroy the Nation of Islam. They had to find someone to do it in Elijah Muhammad's absence. They said they'd find someone. They had to keep it all divided because they was afraid. See, Elijah Muhammad raised the Levites, but he says they were raised first, but they would assist in raising Lazarus, which they didn't do. So someone had to raise Lazarus by itself. Right? But it says they would want to find someone that could turn it around, right, to stop this nation building stuff, right, to stop calling devils devils. That's what it says, brothers and sisters. It's right. You still got it on the site. Stop calling devils devils, and stop and have turn it to what do you call it? Like a wellness health wellness. I forget the term they use, but it says, in other words, self improvement or Scientology. And Farrakhan gave every one of those points, every one of them. Don't call devils devils anymore, right? Self-improvement, Scientology. No more nation building. Bring devils into them. That's what they want. So he was part of the plan to get, because he's laying in wait. Because he got the Nation of Islam under control. Got them held down. So they can be taken out. Then they got false rulers over there trying to hold Iran down so they can take it out. It's much more deeper than what I'm saying, brothers. I'm keeping it on a high level. But you're going to see it in a couple more days, so I don't really need to elaborate. Because you're going to see, but some of you go see too late and have to go through tribulation period, brothers and sisters. I think this is pretty much it. But you can't understand without the key. Like I said, it's not in chronological order. I'm just showing each verse, show where it fits. But if you look at it and study, you can see how to put the pieces together. Then it says, stood upon the sand sea. Now, why is it saying that? Because this, remember, this represents the horns here. They also represent the seas. I didn't change it. Also represent the seas. And the European country, they represent the earth. Now, between the sea and the earth, you got sand. They stood, that means, those demons not there anymore. That means they was taken out. After 5 months, they're destroyed and eaten. Because at that point, there's a famine, and they're going to be, and they show the scripture here, brothers and sisters, but they're going to be eating black folks. It says in the scripture, they're going to be eating my children, my people. That's what God said. You're going to eat my people, cutting them up and chopping them up and everything else, eating them, because they have no other food. If there's no food available in America, it's totally cut off. So to break their pride of power and break their bread. Be no food here, none. And they're under siege because China and India, after that 5 month ends, at the same time that 5 month ends, that's China and India going to be embarking on the West Coast. It says the goat will be coming across from the west, feet not touching land. The only way that's possible has to be China. Because China's on the West Coast, right? The Pacific Ocean, on the other side. It has to be China. India's right behind it. So they're going to be coming here, and they're going to attack America, the ram, with 2 horns. That's Britain and America, because Britain's already going to be gone, but their military that survive is going to be here, and they're going to make their last stand here in America. All the British, so-called British colonies, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, they're all going to be gone. All their armies that's left right here, they're going to make their last stand right here. That's what China and India is going to be embarking on the West Coast. It says at the same time, that's the same time the demons are going to be wiped out because they're causing insurrection, but they're also starvation, and they're going to be chased to stop them from tearing the country apart. Plus, eat them. There's not going to be any food here, bro. Says none, zero. Tells you that. They're going to be eating their own children. Hope you understand, bro. So I'm going to leave it there. I know it's complicated, but this was meant to be as a warning and to also study, because that was the whole thing, to get your mind back. Read Daniel. Your mind had to be restored to you. Read Mark. Your mind had to be restored to you. This is your mind here. This is your mind. It's also your defense. Hope you understand, bro. Says I'm going to leave it there. Assalamu alaikum.